Hi, welcome in, welcome in. Tonight's topic is going to be money, stress, and mental wellness. See me looking above the camera. It's because my notes are back there, and that way I'm not like this the entire time. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump right in. All right, everybody. Before we jump in, moment of silence. Take a deep breath. Tonight's conversation matters. We are not here to shame anybody, and we are not here to flex numbers. And we're definitely not here to pretend money stress is a personal failure. This is a space for real talk about money, mental health, and the quiet pressure so many people are carrying behind the scenes. If you're coming in live, welcome. If you're catching the replay, I am so glad you're here. And if you've ever felt that knot in your chest when you check your bank account, open an email from the IRS, or think about taxes, bills, or your business, this is the conversation for you. Before we go any further, I want to be really clear about a few things. This conversation is educational and supportive. It is not medical advice. It is not therapeutic advice. It is not a substitute for either of those things. I am not a licensed therapist, and tonight's discussion is not a replacement for professional mental health or financial care. Okay. And even if I was a licensed therapist, I couldn't be your therapist because I'm a random on the internet. Okay. What we are going to do tonight is talk openly about experiences that a lot of people have, but rarely say out loud. And if at any point this conversation feels heavy for you, it is okay to step away, take a break, or reach out to someone you trust. Even though we're going to be talking money tonight, I give this disclaimer every single time because mental health is very important to me. I never know who's watching. I never know who's watching from the hallway. So I always like to make sure that if you need immediate support, you can call or text 988, which is going to connect you to trained crisis support. If you're outside the US, local emergency or crisis service areas in your help. Crisis services in your area can help. Getting support is not a weakness, it is maintenance. Jamie's going to go into her monologue and then we're going to bring up Constance. Here's the truth that most people won't say plainly. Money stress is one of the most common and least acknowledged mental health stressors that we face, and yet we treat it like it's a moral issue instead of a systemic one. We tell people, you should have planned better. You should be more disciplined. You should already know this. But nobody asks, who taught you? What systems were you navigating? What survival mode were you in? For entrepreneurs, creatives, freelancers, especially those building something from scratch, money isn't just numbers on a screen. It's safety, it's identity, it's pressure, and it's responsibility. And when income is irregular, when taxes are confusing, and when systems feel overwhelming, the stress doesn't stay all neatly wrapped into a little spreadsheet. It shows up in your body, it shows up in your sleep, it shows up in your relationships, and it also shows up in your confidence. Financial stress does not affect your wallet, it affects your nervous system. We know from broad financial and wellness research that chronic financial uncertainty is associated with increased anxiety symptoms, difficulty concentrating, sleep disruption, avoidance behaviors, emotional shutdown, or overwhelm. And avoidance is important to talk about because it's not laziness. I think sometimes avoidance is the brain saying, oh God, I don't feel safe here, right? Because it's really overwhelming, especially if you end up in debt or something, to look at those numbers. So when people avoid opening bills, checking bank accounts, or filing taxes, it's not really because they don't care. It's because their stress response has been activated. And the longer we shame that response, the harder it becomes to break the cycle. So that is why tonight's conversation matters, because we are not just talking about money, we're talking about how people experience money emotionally. So, this is why I invited Miss Constance to join me tonight. Constance is, and she can correct me if I get any of this wrong, but Constance is a tax and accounting professional who works directly with people behind the scenes, often during some of their most stressful financial moments. Let's be honest, even if you have money, doing taxes ain't fun. Okay. So she sees what people don't post online. She hears the panic behind questions. She understands both the numbers and the human experience attached to them. And what I really appreciate about her work is that it does not start with judgment, it starts with clarity. So, tonight we're going to talk about how financial stress shows up emotionally, why entrepreneurs and creatives face unique pressures, how systems, not shame, reduce anxiety, and how to build a healthier relationship with money over time. This is not about perfection, it is about sustainability. And one more housekeeping thing for anybody new who came in the room. I promise, Constance, I'm almost done talking. I want to say this clearly before we dive into questions. You do not have to have everything figured out to be okay. You do not have to be debt free, stress free, or perfectly organized to be worthy of support. And struggling with money does not mean you are bad at life. It means you're human, living inside systems that weren't built with transparency or accessibility in mind. Tonight's goal is not to overwhelm you, but to provide you with information. It is to help reduce fear and normalize the conversation around money stress and give you language and perspective that you can carry forward. So if you're listening live, you don't need to share anything personal unless you want to, but I do encourage you to stay curious. Let yourself listen without judgment, learn without shame, and remember that growth doesn't require self-punishment. And if something resonates, it's okay to sit with that quietly. I am going to let Constance have the floor. So if you guys have questions and you want to come up on the panel and you're going to interact, my mods will bring you up, but I do ask that you mute while she's talking, and we will prompt you guys to ask your questions if you drop them in the chat individually, just because I don't want anybody over talking anybody. Okay, Constance, with that grounding.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm so happy to be here. Taxes are probably the only thing that's not stressful for me. Like, taxes are fun to me. And I know that sounds absolutely bonkers to some people, but that is what I built my life on. That is the first business that I started, was because I didn't like my first tax return refund. I worked all year and they gave me a hot $200. So I went to tax school because I was like, there is no way. There is no way. I went to work all that time. I was on time. I even went extra. And this is what I went in the store with the money that was already taxed, and y'all gave me extra tax, and I don't get that back. There's no way. I'm doing this obviously incorrectly.
Right.
So I became a professional because I am not one to like to leave my money anywhere that's not going to grow for me. So I just started doing taxes because I said, I have money over there that doesn't belong to them. It's actually mine. And I need to learn how to figure out how to get that. So when I have tax clients, I am very personal with them because I need to know those worries, those doubts, those fears that are surrounding your money so I can help you relieve all of that. Because money is my best friend, baby. Okay. I'm gonna just tell y'all.
I like you because you're a nerd and you like nerdy things.
I do. I'm a huge nerd. And when it comes to counting coins, anybody's coins, I am in. Let's figure out the best plan for you and let's go. Yes. When I do taxes, I do tax planning and like the before your taxes, let's plan that. Like when you get that W-4 at your job and nobody knows how to fill it out because nobody teaches us that anywhere. Even if you ask HR, they're like, I can't really tell you that. You have to figure that out for yourself. Here are the instructions right here in these 97 paragraphs. Have a good time. Yes. Turn that back in. Thanks. Yes. Yeah, I didn't really like that. And so when you come to me or you ask me a question, I'm going to give you the entire realm because you need to know the entire realm. Yes. You need to know from the starting point where they shoot the thing and tell you to go all the way to when you cross that finish line. Because it's still your money. Whether it's tax money or not, it's still your money. Yes. And you need to know that it's doing what it's supposed to do. But that was my introduction. My bad.
No, you are 100% okay. So we're going to start at the beginning because context matters, okay? So you sort of did this, but if you have anything to add to it, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do as a tax and accounting professional? You did tell us what led you into this work, so you can skip that part.
Oh, what I do is I do every type of taxes that you can think of because I'm an enrolled agent with the IRS. And that means I do my W-2 job because I have both. I am a dual professional. I own businesses and everything, but I have a W-2 job, and I have that job because they do taxes. I can just say that. I'm not really sure what else I can say, but they are very intuitive over there. Okay. And their taxes are turbo. So I am their administrator during the day. And then, of course, tax season, I am the final answer on customer questions. Because if they cannot find it quick enough on the phone, they just reach out to me real quick and I'm doing nothing. I mean, I'm working because, but the people that I work with, they're professionals and they don't really need me unless, there's one question that didn't really go right in the software and then I'll answer that and they can go on their way. But I I answer tax questions 365 days a year, 366 during the years, because that's the most common stressor for your mental health is your money. And taxes have a whole season of what am I going to do? You had a whole year to figure it out, but January 1st, after you finish partying, the second you realize it's tax season. I didn't do anything to prepare myself. And I'm going to get out here and I'm going to just do the best I can by April 15th. I'm going to just, hey, it's going to be stressful. And you already plan in your mind how much stress you're going to have because it's tax season. Just because you woke up and realized I have to file taxes.
Well, let me just
And
tell you that even though I have an accountant, I'm still a nutcase for 10 days trying to gather everything. I take
mhm,
10 days and just block out my calendar with 2 hours a day to work on everything because I am just nuts. And we track stuff all year long, but sometimes there's stuff that
mhm,
they ask me about that I don't have ready yet.
right.
So, I'm still kind of
Well, and
nutty
it's
at tax
because
time.
you didn't know.
Yeah,
You're not the professional. That's why you hand it off. But it's very good that you give yourself the time and space to not stress. Like you
right,
block things off because this needs to be done and it needs to be
right,
done correctly.
right.
And there's a deadline.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
deadline with many things, but this is a very important deadline because if you do not meet that deadline and you owe them, they will definitely help you understand a payment plan.
Yes,
They will
yes,
definitely get you consistent with giving your money to them. Okay.
yes, yes,
so,
yes, they will.
and that's why I like for a lot of customers do not do their due diligence at all until they call me.
Right. So
And that's
that is
perfectly
going
fine.
to tie nicely right into my next question. In your work
Yeah.
with clients, how often do you see financial stress impacting their overall well-being?
Mm, mm. I am going to say every customer that I have ever had
Okay.
because a lot of my customers come from other places and they have tax trauma. And I know some of you may not understand what that is, but there is a thing called tax trauma,
Hmm.
and it has real effects on the entire system. As in, I've had people come into my office and they were literally paralyzed with fear because they had an IRS letter that they didn't open. They had no idea what it said, but they were physically shaking and could not get their life together to even basically hand me the letter.
Hmm.
And so I take the letter because I'm not afraid of them because I've been over there since the late 90s. So I'm not whatever they got to say, we're gonna handle it. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And so I open it up and they have one of the biggest tax bills I've ever seen in my life. They had over 10K.
Oh, wow.
But they had started a business and they were very, very successful, but they had no idea about quarterly taxes and, things that they should have been doing because they were making money that was tax free.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't doing any of that because nobody tells you that.
Right.
No one says that. And that's almost I we won't say that I said it, but it's almost like a plan because if you don't know that you don't owe them that money, you don't know to put it on your tax return and get it back to you.
Right.
And so,
Right.
and they're completely happy with that. Just know that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
completely
Oh,
fine with
yeah,
you leaving that money
absolutely.
over there. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what are some of the most common emotional reactions you witness when people are dealing with tax issues or financial challenges?
the most common issues are I don't feel well. I haven't felt good for about 3 weeks now. I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel good. Like everything about me is just, I don't know. I'm sleeping all the time when I should be doing other things. Like a full on depression has come
Mm-hmm.
on to some of the clients that I've dealt with. And it really it's heart wrenching
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sitting on the side of we can fix it. We
Mm-hmm.
got this. I want to size up whatever you've got going that's giving you that stress
Mm-hmm.
and show you that I am the only giant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to take care of this.
Right.
We're going to get through this. If it's a payment plan, whatever it is, it can be handled. But I need you to open the letters.
Yes.
I need you to have separated accounts, as in personal and business.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't know about your money, I definitely don't know about your money because it's not my money.
Right.
I can tell you all about mine, personal and business, where everything goes, all of that, give you checklists and all of that. But if you don't have your things separated, you're just causing yourself more stress.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get organized when it comes to absolutely anything,
Mm-hmm.
not just your money, but if you get organized, you'll have less stress. And I have actually seen that because the one that had the big old tax bill, we sat down and we worked it out and we worked out a payment plan that the money wasn't coming from anything that they needed. It was just money that they just were paying for things that they didn't need to pay for.
Right.
And once we sat down and looked at where their money was, they were like, "Oh, I could definitely afford that." But the paralysis left them immediately once
Yes.
they saw the solution.
Yes. Do you think, and this isn't even on any of the preset questions I sent you, but do you think that sometimes once you've helped these people, they feel relief walking away?
Oh my goodness. That is why I can say that I have repeat customers
Okay.
because they tell me things like, you really helped me to understand what's on my tax return
Right.
because everybody else just says, give me the numbers.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what they're talking about half the time. So I just give them something.
Yeah.
And I realized I wasn't even giving them enough. Like I have other expenses and things, but the way that they walked me through it, they were like, okay, does that page look good? That page looks good. Sign here and boop, you're done. And you have no idea what's going on because you're not the professional and you don't know the questions to ask. And
Right.
so that can bring up a lot of stress as well. But I can say with my customers, they are coming back. They make sure they refer people every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I have that personal touch. I literally get on. We go to the zoo with an M, and you keep all of your secure information,
Yeah.
and I give you time to run around your house and go find what I need. When I
Yeah.
ask you for something, hey, go get that, please. I know you got it.
Yeah.
I know you got it.
Yep. Absolutely. Can you share a story, obviously without names, where you saw how money problems were clearly affecting somebody's mental health?
Ooh, yes. Okay, so I had a client that I have worked with for, oh my gosh, I'm going to date myself, but probably about 17 years. And I started noticing in probably about year 5 that there was a slight issue because year 4, we came in happy. We had all our stuff. Everything was going great. It was excellent. Year 5, we come in and we're not with it. There's something going on. And it takes about 45 minutes, and I find out that we lost our job.
Oh.
And we lost our job a long time ago.
Oh.
And we didn't know what we were going to do. And we had lost weight. Our hair was falling out. It was kind of like the physical capabilities were just like, say somebody's like, oh, I don't know, 36 years old, and they walk into your office and they're walking like they're 86.
Mm.
And you see them all the time. And once I realized that they didn't have a job, that money caused this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they had money, they would be the same happy person to bring me their stuff like they do every year. But because money was the underlying issue, their entire everything was declining.
Mm.
And I I did everything that I could to find ways for them to receive the help that they needed, because if I did not, we had other conversations of they were going to be missing from the planet. We'll say it that way.
Mm.
It had gotten to that point of I don't even want to be here anymore,
Oh my
because
gosh.
the worth, a lot of times people's self-worth and their capabilities are tied in with their check. They're tied in with their money. I'm only successful if I have such and such dollar amount,
Mm-hmm.
because they're looking at everybody else. They're in competition with the entire world, and they're not taking into account of how that is affecting them on the inside. And so another part of my, I don't know, I don't want to say tax healing, but I mean I do heal your taxes, especially if you owed.
Were
But
they able to overcome that though eventually?
yes,
Okay.
once we sat down and we did the strategies and what they're capable of and what they can do in this moment, they were good. And I kept checking on them. Every week we had a call, a check in. I need to see your face. Basically, I need to see your face getting fuller. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I will send groceries, but I need to see your face. I need to hear your tone, and I need to make sure that that money issue is not stopping everything in your world,
Right. So why do you
because
think
it
that
can.
yeah, yeah, it can. As much as they say that money doesn't equal happiness, it does make the world go round, and when you don't have it, you unhappy.
Okay. As much as they say money can't buy me happiness, I should have been named happiness, baby. Because you give me some money, your girl gonna smile. Okay.
Right, right.
Like,
Why do you think money is such a taboo topic, and how does that silence contribute to mental health struggles?
I believe that money is, because in the beginning, all this is created. There are people that believe that money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe that in the core of your soul, guess what your reality is? Laws of attraction tell you money is the root of all evil. So every time you deal with money, it's a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad time. Not on purpose, but that's how you set yourself up. Basically, you told the universe that money is the root of all evil, and that is the only thing that's going to come to you. If you say things like every dollar I spend comes back to me times 10, baby, what? That happiness and that money, they gonna meet up,
Yeah.
and they gonna come right to you.
I believe that our words have power, and that's a whole other conversation we could talk for hours about, I promise you. But I do think that the way we talk about money does impact our money situation. So I decided a couple things I'm not saying this year is I'm fat, I'm broke, and I'm tired, because all of those things are keeping me fat, broke, and tired. And I feel like I'm going to start saying I have everything I need. I am nourished, and I wake
Mhm.
up every day ready to start the day, because words have power. So I do believe there's some truth. Now, ultimately, you have to be responsible with your money at the same
Mhm.
time, but I do think how we have our attitudes about money does impact how we spend. So, what
Yes.
unique financial stressors do you see with entrepreneurs and creatives compared to traditional employees?
Um, I might not get paid this week.
Hmm.
That's the issue. That's the biggest stressor of content creators, entrepreneurs, small business owners, because that W-2, you're going to clock in for them 40 hours a week. And you
Yes.
know you're getting a paycheck.
Yes.
And you can plan and you can do all of those things. But when it's, so you're a photographer and you get $20,000 in January because everybody got married.
Yes.
But then in June, because everybody got married in January, you have $0. Nobody's calling you, nobody's doing anything. And you better hope that that $20,000 stretches out or you're in Stressville.
Right. No, I can attest to that. I will say running a business, there have been weeks. So I'm still in the stage where there are weeks I have to manually do payroll. So I only manually do payroll because I have to run to the bank and put money in before I run payroll because they'll withdraw it within like 2 or 3 hours. And I have to make
Okay.
sure it's in there. So I can attest to that as far as entrepreneurship. But I also would say that one thing I've learned, and I set up an LLC. So I knew to separate the money from personal money. But one thing that I did learn that I didn't know until I did that was the quarterly tax thing. And if you're not doing that, even without an LLC, that can be problematic for you. If you're not putting that money away, it can be problematic for you when you go to pay your taxes. And so far, and guess what? My revenue this year for my business was negative 1230 because Jamie has them deduct everything. So I have had to pay zero taxes this year. Now I ain't making big bucks, but it is important because if I wasn't doing this come tax time, they're going to say, oh, she's pulled in X amount of dollars. But, so they're
Tax-free
going to,
dollars.
right. And so, and I think that, and at the end, we'll get into some of the things and some of the questions people can ask you. But I think people miss a lot of things that they can get deductions for, or they're not accurately doing the max what they can.
Accounting for.
Right.
As in, you took grandma to the doctor, those are medical miles.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know for a long time I was volunteering that I could write my volunteer miles off. And so then all of a sudden,
Yes.
every day, I freaking was writing that
Okay.
down. So, I mean, if I make a trip to the bank in my car to add money to payroll, I'm writing
For
off the
payroll,
miles. If I'm mailing
yeah.
something because somebody ordered something, I'm writing off the miles. And I do have some questions about how that would work for public transportation people, and we'll get to that. So we'll come back to it. But how does irregular income or feast or famine cycle impact mental wellness? Because we know that people don't always balance their money as it's coming in for those famine moments.
Yes, the famine. The famine. The famine is usually when you basically when you got your refund check and you went out there and you got them paper tags because you thought you was gonna have money forever, and then in 3 months, then snatch the paper tags on the back of that tow truck because you didn't keep making the money that you were making because you got a surplus. That's usually when that feast or famine happens. Is we are we were feasting and we were doing so well, and we forgot that we needed to set up some type of emergency fund when we're not feasting anymore.
Right.
And we still want to chillax and do what we want to do. So,
would you recommend a budget for people who have a good month and then a budget that includes planning for months that are not so good? Okay.
I'm going to say the 4 buckets.
Okay.
Your needs, 50%. That's your mortgage. You need that because you need not to be outside. That's your water because you like that too. That's your lights. All of the things that you know are coming monthly that are not a surprise to you. Those are your needs.
Okay.
And then you've got that 5% in your debt payoff. Only 5% because debt payoff is look, we didn't have it. We put it on credit, and this is what I can give you. This is we're working with a budget here. So 5% for that. Let me check my notes again. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
That's
mess
okay.
this up.
While you're doing that, one of the things that I want to bring up is if people are struggling with debt, there are options to prevent bankruptcy before it goes that far. And a lot of people do not know what those options are. And you do not have to pay a fee or get delinquent on your bills for that to happen. You can be a little behind. You can maybe not make the full payment, but there are programs. I just found out about one this week called Green Path. They only charge what the state requires them to charge, but they're a nonprofit, and they actually will go to your creditors and work out lower payments for you. You might have to close those cards, but you can do this and avoid bankruptcy. And I think a lot of people don't know about these types of tools.
Okay, we're almost there. We're almost
Yeah,
there.
no worries. No worries.
Me and my notes. We are doing so well today. But definitely the need is 50%. I know that for sure. And the
Yeah.
debt is debt
No
payoff is
worries.
5%.
No
But
worries.
the other one is goodness, I took such good notes and I lost all of it.
That's okay. You can, if you want to keep looking for them,
Yeah,
you can, or I can just go on to the next question, whatever you want to do.
yeah, we'll come back to it when I find it.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
go
no
to the next one
problem.
because I'm close. It's just
What are some of the biggest money mistakes you see creative business owners making that increase their stress?
credit card debt.
I
As
think that's
soon
probably
as
the
you
number
get a
one.
little business income, you go absolutely insane. Like you don't have to pay that back.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you're spending money like your business is making that amount of money. You need to make sure that you are not spending more on that credit card than you can pay back because they will take your business credit right on down if you are not making those payments like you're supposed to.
Well,
So they may give you 100,000, but
and that
you're
interest
gonna be
credit,
down to
it can only
75.
be deducted at the end of the year, so you can't be running it up counting on that.
Nope. Nope. You don't
So,
get to, yeah,
I mean, I
no,
don't
you
think
don't
people
get
think
any
about
relief.
things like that either. You get deductions for interest, and even if you have to use a personal card for a business expense, you can get a deduction for the interest. You can get deductions if you're using a payment portal like Square and they take their 3% to process your transaction. I think people just don't think about any of those things when they're running their businesses either. Are you paying Etsy to host your products? That's a deduction. And Etsy
Mm-hmm.
will give you a spreadsheet at the end of the year.
Yep. And let you know what you did.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Love
how
that.
can the pressure of quarterly taxes or year end accounting affect somebody's anxiety, in your opinion?
Every single month over here at Taxes Done Right by Constance Jones, there is at least 3 people that, oh my gosh, I cannot afford this. What happened to we planned to save 25 to 30% of any income that you receive for this business because that's your tax bucket. That's where your taxes is going.
Yeah.
When you get that bill every month for the quarterly taxes, you already saved it, so you have it to give to them. And if you understand your write-offs when it comes to that, you don't have to give it to them. But a lot of people don't understand that,
Hmm.
and they absolutely panic.
Right.
And I put out a lot of heart fires
Right.
in my line of work.
I believe it. I believe it. Well, what is the first step somebody should take if they're feeling completely overwhelmed by their finances in general, in your
Find
opinion?
a professional. Find a professional. Find a professional. Because we know, and from our perspective, we're not judging you at all. We understand that you're completely stressed out, and it is our joy and pleasure to see that smile on your face when we say one sentence. You get to write that off, so you don't have to worry about paying for that. Oh, and that's a write off too. So you don't owe that because we're going to write these things off, and that's legal and tax compliant. So you can not stress. Let me stress for you when it comes to taxes because that's my job. Literally.
So it's like taking that burden for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
How,
just take it. Like, and that's the burden that I want because on my side, it's not a burden at all.
right.
It's not a burden because I understand what's going on. And that's where I think a lot of people get confused that you don't go to the doctor and tell the doctor exactly what you need and what they need to do to you to fix whatever you got going on.
Right.
But you will definitely go to a tax professional and do that.
Right. Right. How can people set up financial systems that reduce daily anxiety rather than increase it?
Ooh. They can actually automate everything. If there is a bill, there is an automation for that bill. Put that money in the account and let it just go because you know it's coming.
Mhm.
All you know your mortgage is coming every single month. You
Mhm.
know that light bill is coming every month. That water bill, that gas bill, those phone bills, the internet. You know those things are coming every single month.
Mhm.
So you're putting the money where it needs to go. So you don't even have to worry about late fees and extra charges and all this extra stuff that is just taking your money from you. You can
Right.
just pay your bills. And actually, when you automate, they do it a little early. And some places you get credit for being automated,
Mhm.
as in we'll take $5, $10 off because you decided to pay us on time every time.
Mhm. Or they'll take
That's
a
saving
reduced
money.
interest. I've seen that with
Mm-hmm.
mortgages. They'll take half a point off if they can auto draft.
Mm-hmm.
I would say with that too, one of the things I've started doing to be more mindful about how I am spending is twice a week I balance my checkbook. And I hate having to put in multiple entries in that damn thing. So I will literally be like, I am not buying anything because I don't want to have to track this
I
later.
don't want to have to
I
figure
don't
it
want to
out.
have to deal with it later, but I like to know my money situation. I've couple times I have found where like money wasn't taken out and it should have been. And so I need to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I'm sitting on it so it doesn't go anywhere.
Yes.
But that's the thing. I used to think that was really dumb, and I'm weird. I don't like to handwrite everything down. I'm lazy, but now I have a way that I can do it twice a week that tickles my brain, so I do it, and it has made such a difference. And I'm very excited to say that my husband uses none of these methods, but he just told me that any obligations he had, he has paid off. And so he wants to help me with some of my obligations. And that made my heart
Yay.
happy today. So I
Oh
was
my
like, "Oh,
goodness.
that's amazing." So we are both really trying to take the steps to be more mindful about how we spend and not to buy things we don't need. If it's a want and it doesn't need to feed us, house us, clothe us, or keep us warm, we're trying to not spend,
Yep.
at least, especially for now, because we're in our 40s, so we want goals for when we're 60 or whatever. What
Mm-hmm.
role do you think financial literacy plays in mental health around money, and where should people start learning?
Ooh, the where can people start learning part. Uh, I'm I'm going to say if you want to know about money, then you need to go to financial companies that's what they do is finances,
Hmm.
because a lot of times they'll have videos and tutorials or blogs or anything that you can learn from.
Hmm.
And like you want to start investing, you're
Hmm.
going to go to the investing firm and the website and you're going to read all the information,
Hmm.
and then you're going to make the call and say, okay, this is what I can do, with my budget after I've looked at everything. This is a part of my investing, because that's a part of your four buckets is the investing. And you want to put it over here. So after you do your research, you go to the professional and say, okay, this is what I came up with. What do you do?
Right.
How can you help me? How can you assist me? Always find a professional if there's something that you don't know. And I'll use the doctor again. You don't know everything about your body because you didn't go to medical school. So you go to the doctor. You
And
don't know everything about your money, you find somebody that does.
And I think the caveat to that too is there's a lot of really great finance YouTube channels, but you have to be very mindful because anybody who is not actually a financial person, you really shouldn't be taking advice from, even if it's good advice, if you're not in a position financially to be listening to their advice. And I say this
Mm-hmm.
as somebody who used to be a huge proponent of the Dave Ramsey method, tried it, did it, loved it and hated it at the same time. Not saying you shouldn't do it, but some of the things he says about money were relevant in the 80s when he started his program and not so much now. And he's not a licensed accountant or a licensed financial broker or anything like that. I do think his snowball method works, and I do think it is a way to do things. But I also believe that we have to learn to be more responsible with using credit. I don't think we should erase it entirely because more than once I have seen somebody get a higher mortgage rate because they did not have enough credit. And I think that's really where people struggle. I think I'll put it this way, by the time people get to Dave Ramsey, they're in such need of help that they have to take his advice. And I will give him that. I will give him that. But the goal is to not take it that far.
Not need it. Do some work pregame.
Yes, pregame.
Pregame.
And I want to share something that's really I found interesting, and I wish more schools did this. So when my youngest son was finishing school, one of the classes he had to take, it was not called financial literacy, but it should have been called that because they taught them how to calculate wages, how to calculate their taxes, how to calculate interest, how to calculate debts, what debt to income ratios are, and how to write a check, even though we don't really do that anymore. It taught them how to write a check. It taught them how to budget. And I'm not going to say it went in one ear and out the other with him because but he doesn't do everything he was taught. But I will tell you, he has a rule when he goes to work. He has the cash job. He takes 50% of the cash and he puts it away for an oh shit fund, and he takes the other 50% and he can do whatever the hell he wants with it. And then when something comes up, he has and you know what? He had to deplete his oh shit fund and start over, and that's okay. But I do think that class played a role in at least teaching him something, which is better than what some kids come out of school with. And not every parent is equipped or has the time or is appropriate for teaching financial literacy.
Yeah, because some of them didn't pass math, so
yeah.
Like,
yeah. So how often should entrepreneurs review their finances to stay on top of them without becoming obsessive about them?
For me, I say once a month.
Okay.
Pick a day where you're going through everything that you got going for that month. Just pick a day, any day.
Okay.
You could even be doing the previous month or whatever, but set aside one day of your month where you look at your bank statements from your personal and your business accounts. And you grab some highlighters and you say, this money came in, it's green on both of them. This money went out, it's red, pink, whatever, something that you're going to remember. And then expenses, they're purple. Expenses are write-offs. You can itemize on your 1040, and that'll pull your Schedule C, and that's for your W-2 income and all of that. And then when you do your business expenses, same 1040, different Schedule C for your business, you can write off all of your business expenses over there. You have to get a professional to know how to spend your money before taxes come. Do not spend on something and you beat the limit on taxes and you only get a certain amount back.
Right.
Because there are limits to some things. So,
right. Now, when it comes to building financial stability and peace of mind, in your opinion, what does financial stability really mean, especially for people with variable income?
Financial stability for someone that's out here in any kind of social media streets and they are not receiving a regular, I work 40 hours, this is what I get every single time. I would suggest the emergency fund needs to be built 6 to 12 months.
Okay.
If you can do an entire year, that's fantastic. But at least 6 to 12 months, because you never know, especially if you're online, you never know what they're going to do.
And that's
if they shut the government down, they'll take us down.
Facts. And we actually saw that. We saw that this last year. Can you talk about that? Ties right into the next question. Can you talk about the mental health benefits of having an emergency fund, even a small one? What, in your opinion, how do you think it affects people's mental health when they have an oh shit day?
When you know you got it, you don't have problems. You don't have an oh shit day. You just I got that money, so let's pay that.
Yes. Yes.
That you no more oh shit days. You have an account in case, shit just goes to shit sometimes. But when it does, you already know, oh, I already had my own back.
Right.
I've had my own back for like 6 months.
Right.
If everything goes to shit in a handbasket, guess what? Your girl gonna be rocking for at least a year, and then we're gonna have to talk about it, okay? I'm gonna be doing the same everything, the same out to eat like I like, the same shopping, the same everything for an entire year. And then we're gonna have to talk about me getting another job, okay?
This next question is one that I really feel like you're going to like. How can people reframe their relationship with money from one of fear to one of empowerment?
It all starts with financial literacy, baby. Okay.
Okay. All right. All right.
But you have to literally change your mind about your money. You think that for some reason, a lot of people do not have their money on payroll. My money makes money for me.
Right.
Because everybody in my house has a job.
Right.
My kids have chores. The adults go to work.
Right.
Why is my money not working for me?
Right.
That don't make no sense. So that financial literacy will let you know that your money should be making money for you.
So the goal is to go from working to make money to make your money work for you.
Yes.
Okay. I like it. All right. So, realistic saving goals for entrepreneurs who are just starting to get their finances in order. Now, I know you said 6 to 12 months earlier, but I think we're tying kind of the creator aspect into this.
3 to 6 months.
Okay.
If you can get a strong 3 months of all of your necessities and all your coffee trips, because your girl I like the DD coffee. I like anybody's coffee, okay? Throw some creamer in and your girl is in. So it happens every day. And so that is included in my needs,
right,
in my emergency fund, because your girl is not right without her coffee. Nobody wants to deal with her, including her, okay? So make sure that you are including the things that you actually do every day along with your bills.
Okay.
Because it's a hard hit when it's struggle month. You have the money to pay your bills, but because it's struggle month, you don't get your coffee. You don't get to go out with your girls, to brunch, once a month because it's struggle month.
Right.
So you get to miss all of those things. So make sure when you are setting yourself up for success, you are putting those things in that you love to do that make you happy, because not having your money has a strong chance of not making you happy.
Right. What would you recommend, especially for entrepreneurs and creators, when it comes to getting professional help? Should they try to do the bookkeeping themselves at first and then when they grow, move on? Or should they just try to start out with getting a bookkeeper from the beginning so they don't miss anything?
Because of where I work, I'm going to say, if you do not have the money for a bookkeeper, do not hire a bookkeeper, because at my job, you can get the bookkeeping software for absolutely free.
Okay.
Because your girl. Hi.
Okay.
I can set you up for success.
Okay.
And then I also have people that do not charge the normal fees because they are new to all of this bookkeeping and everything. And so they are willing to work with you, as in, hey, you got money this month. I'm going to spend 2 hours on your books and this is how much you owe me. So they'll do hourly, and they are focused on small business and content creators that are self-employed, because you just found out this year that a content creator is a small business owner to the IRS. Mm-hmm. So that surprise, now your best friends are in your TT money.
Right.
There are a lot of new surprises. So I would say, because you've made some money somewhere in the social media streets, I would definitely look into different bookkeeping softwares. And there are a lot of YT videos and everything that can assist you. I mean, I've been doing this so long that I started with a pencil and a spiral, okay? Like, I wrote out my own spreadsheets, okay?
I used to balance my checkbook with the bank statements that you get online now. And
Yes.
now I
Yes.
just balance it right in a spreadsheet. But yeah, so it can get crazy about
You don't
that.
want to go outside of what you can actually afford to do.
Right, right.
So you don't, I mean, you're making what, $100
Mm-hmm.
every Wednesday on TT? You
Mm-hmm.
do not need a bookkeeper for that. You can
Right,
do that yourself.
right.
Like,
Now, how do you approach conversations with clients who are struggling with money issues?
what's your end goal? What do you want to see? That's my first question.
Okay.
What is it that you do not like about what you got going on? Because you set it up. And I need to know how you feel about your money because it's all about the feelings, because
Right.
that's what's changing your mental health. So I need to know how you feel about your money. And then if we need to have a that girl Constance conversation
Mm-hmm.
and get you together, cut that light back on, reframe that, fix it up, then we can actually plan to help you, or whatever it is that you're struggling with. We can actually make a plan and a strategy and get you to that finish line that you told me in the beginning in the first question.
Okay. Okay.
What's your finish line? Let me help you plan how you're going to get there with the money that you have. Not imaginary money that you're going to possibly make. We're talking what you got going right now, this minute. What can we do with that?
What do you think the difference between normal financial stress and something that might require mental health support? Because I know that sometimes money can be spent
Mhm.
recklessly during times of stress.
It's time to seek a professional when you do not have a job and you have spent all of your savings going on trips and eating out and doing all these basically reckless things. We need to get you some help because you're flying down a path that you never wanted to be on.
Right.
And it's noticeable at this point. So that's usually my first clue when because I do taxes, I do them all year long, but I have customers that will come back to me and be like, I spent my entire refund.
Okay.
You did what? So you paid all your bills? No, I don't have anything to show for it. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's you can tell in their entire body that if we don't fix this right now, it's not gonna go right when they leave here.
Have you
Like
ever
I feel
referred
that.
somebody to therapy because their spending is so bad?
I have suggested that they speak to someone. I've suggested that. I've never used the word just because that can, turn people off sometimes,
Right. Right.
because they'll think that I'm judging them, but
Right.
I'll just bring it back to me. Like when I had this problem,
Right.
then I went and spoke with such and such over at the such and such center just to, realign
Right.
with what I had going on because I was way off course. So I tell them in a way that I'm not judging you. I've been there. I understand,
Mm-hmm.
but I see our relationship is, taxes and money. But if I know your money, baby, I know you.
Right.
And I know if your money is not right, you're not right.
Right.
So yeah, I don't say the word, but I have had a few people that I've suggested, hey, why don't you go and, I mean, we've talked about you speaking with someone. Have you called them lately?
Yeah.
Because they probably want to know.
Yeah.
So
Do you think that it's important for people to talk more openly about their money situation?
yes, because people like me want to help you. We want to help you.
And
We don't want you struggling and stressful.
do you think it's appropriate from your perspective as the money person for them to be willing to open up about it in the case that it's affecting their mental health space?
For me, I say yes because I work with my customers on a personal level, as
Okay.
in, we are working together to solve this problem for you. Like, I've got your back. That what you have to trust me and let me in on everything that's happening.
Okay.
That's the only reason I know you're 4 car payments behind because you decided to go to Mexico for
Right.
a month, you
Right.
know?
Right. Now, how can entrepreneurs create supportive communities where talking about financial struggles isn't seen with a stigma or shame?
Really just get up and talk about it. Just hit the button and talk about it and watch people flood in. because you are not alone ever when it comes to money struggles. Somebody is struggling worse than you, and somebody is doing better than you at all times of the day. But
Okay.
guess what? If you get it out and you tell the universe what you want to happen, you can change it. So just talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about anything when it comes to money, because everybody has money. Like,
Yes.
it's not like you're going to meet anyone, at least on this side of the country, that does not have to spend money or deal with money in some type of way, is not getting paid money, something.
Right.
Everybody has something to do with money. Even kids have little savings accounts and piggy banks and things.
Right.
So,
right. Now, my next question is, if someone comes to you and says they feel like they're bad with money, it's affecting their self-worth, what would be a comment, a thought, or piece of advice that you would give them? Hypothetically, of course.
I would say, first off, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not bad with money. You're bad with your conversation about money,
Okay.
but you're not bad with money,
Okay.
because that you can't be bad with money. It's yours and you spent it. What went wrong? What was bad about that? What was bad about it? Like, I'm not going to judge you. You didn't do anything wrong. You spent your money.
Right.
You spent your money. What? There's no problem there. Now we just got to figure out, because you actually shouldn't have spent that money. Maybe that's the issue, but you spending money is not a bad thing ever. You're not bad with money. You just like to spend it. So we need to figure out how you can make more money or move some money where you can spend more money, because that's what makes you happy.
Or
You
where
like
need to
spending
quit
money.
spending. Temporarily anyway, right?
Well, at least download some apps or whatever where you can play some games and they'll pay you. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I
And
actually
that'll be
have
your
one that I
spending
use.
money.
I have one that I
I
use.
have 4.
And I made $80 in one weekend just playing phone games. And I was like, all right. I haven't had time to play phone games lately, but I was like, hell yeah.
Yes. I mean,
So,
money is money. I love to see it coming. I don't like for it to go, but I know when it comes back, it's going to be tenfold. So,
yes. Yes. All right. So now we're getting to the closing questions. And then after we do these, I was going to allow people to ask tax questions if they want. And then I was
yes.
going to have you give your speech about TikTok coins that you gave in my live a while back.
Oh,
So we'll get to that, but I'll ask you, there's only 4 questions left. So, what is one piece of financial advice you wish every entrepreneur knew?
separate your money. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean that. And I know I've said it a lot, but that is the most common stressor, because you didn't separate and now you don't know anything. I don't have anything to tell you because I don't know about your money.
Right.
So separate your money. Separate the money out of the account. If you cannot do that, then you need to have a PayPal. PayPal has a business account. Get over there and get you one.
Yes.
That is a separation. Your business money, any social media streets, they all go to the same place on that business account.
Mm-hmm.
That way it's not hard and stressful at tax time. Even if you wait until April 14th, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You put all your money in the same place. All your personal money went here, all your business money went there.
Right.
So all you have to do is pull the statements.
Right. Now, how do you, this is you personally, manage the stress of dealing with other people's financial problems all day? Does it ever take a toll on you, or do you find it enjoyable because you like challenges?
Yes, the enjoyable part. Like, what I love tax season, but I've made it to where my customers are plug and play. I
Okay.
know exactly what's going to happen. I know exactly what you're getting because you only made $2 more than you did last year. So
Can I just say you're
they got the
probably the
same kids.
happiest accountant I've ever seen during tax season? Like,
Oh
I'm
my
not even
gosh.
an accountant, and I'm like, I can't wait till it's so I make it a mission because I have an LLC and it's an S corp, and I have to have my taxes done by March. Or I have to file an
Mm-hmm.
extension. I don't want to file an extension because I want my freaking refund. Okay. So I make it
Amen.
a point that as soon as I have everything, which is usually February 1st, I'm getting everything over to the accountant so that we can start working on my personal taxes. And they will not even start on my personal taxes till they finish the business taxes. And so, but I send them everything all at once so I can just be done with it. And I will
Mm-hmm.
tell you, that's why it takes me 10 days of craziness because I'm like, where is this? Where is that? Where is this? And every year I say, I'm going to upload this to the portal so I don't have to worry about it. And every year,
You
I'm
don't.
doing better this year. I'm doing better this year, but every year I'm like, why did I wait till the last minute to upload the dental bill?
Mm-hmm.
So, what gives you hope when you see clients transform their relationship with money?
Oh my goodness. I see it in them when they call my phone and say, "Oh my gosh, I made a budget and I have money in my savings and I have money in every single bucket and I've been doing that for 3 months." I'm so excited because the entire weight is completely lifted off.
Okay.
Save yourself just 1 month of emergency expenses and see how happy you are.
Okay.
Just 1 month. Don't even do the 3 yet. Just do 1 month of I did what I was supposed to do and I put everything in the buckets every time I got paid. I moved my money where it was supposed to go. When you see how much money you actually have and can save, you're going to lose your mind. I'm just telling you. You're going to lose it. And you're
Okay.
going to be so happy because you're going to be like, what? I've been telling people I was broke all this time and I have money. Like
Right.
I have 2 different savings accounts. One of them is a high yield savings account and it's making me money. It's another thing, just a little tip. Let me back up a little bit. If
Okay.
you are still rocking with a regular savings account at your regular bank, making that 22 cents every single month in interest, baby, stop
Yes.
that.
High yield savings account.
Stop it.
I use American Express because at one point they were paying 5%,
Yeah. Okay.
not
Yes. And
0.5%,
oh, wait a minute.
5%.
And
There was a month I had to put $4,000 in it because it wasn't my money. And I said, I need to set this aside and make sure I don't spend it, but I'm going to make someone else's money work for me. And I
yes.
made $7 in 1 month on that 4 grand. And no, it's not a lot. But imagine if it was $40,000, the amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got
Mm-hmm.
compound interest. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get to it in just a minute. If listeners take away just one thing from our conversation today, what would you want it to be?
Taxes aren't stressful because you know your money.
Okay. Okay.
Taxes are not stressful. Take that out of your head. If
Okay.
you didn't hear anything else, taxes are not stressful. Stop telling yourself that taxes are stressful because they're not. Because, hi, look at me. Hi, I'm so excited this season. What? All of these content creators? What? Because they think it's a challenge for me. I mean, I've been self employed since, I don't know, 2010. This is what I do. This is why I know write offs because that's all I focus on is getting my money off of their table because it's not theirs, it's mine. It's not
Okay.
making me a blessed thing over there on their table.
All right.
I'm not
Well,
even getting the 22 cents.
yeah. All right. Well, Constance, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate everything that you've said. Um, I am going to, if you're comfortable, do a brief time for people to do Q&A. I've got about 20 minutes left, so I can have them do a Q&A. And before we get to that, while I'm allowing people up from the chat, can you go over that wonderful spiel you gave in my live a couple months ago about
Yeah.
how um, when you are getting paid or when you are purchasing TikTok coins and you are a creator who goes live or is monetized on this app, how it can impact your taxes at tax time in a good way?
This is the best part of my conversation on Tax Tuesdays. I run this every Tuesday, y'all, on my page. So I'm gonna just go from the beginning. Hi, I'm that girl Constance in my corner with the cheetah bathrobe backdrop that we write up on Tax Tuesdays. Yes, I am here to tell you that everything that you see in this screen over here is in my home office, baby, and it's a write-off. These glasses on my face, 7.5% off of my AGI as a medical write-off because the professional doctor that I went to told me that I couldn't see, although I made my appointment to tell him I couldn't see, but he told me that I needed these. And so I can write them off of my taxes. When you are in the streets, anywhere, any social media streets, TT streets are super fun and everything. And
Mhm.
you're here and you decided you wanted to grab your heart me. You wanted to bless me because I'm up here talking. You wanted to bless the panel. You just out here just blessing all your money away. I just want you to know that that comes back to you because you just donated to everybody's small business that is on this panel. Everything that you do in the streets, it's money exchange. Coins are exchanged. When you give those coins out, you get them back because that's a donation. Because Jamie is in business right now because she pushed that button. According to the IRS, she is self-employed. She is responsible for 15.3% of taxes on all of her 1099 income. All of her business income, 15.3% of taxes because she pushed that button and they paid her. There was an exchange of money. So we need to figure out how that money is coming back to us because we didn't just give it away and it's just gone in the wind. That's not how it works. Right. When you give here or in other social media streets, you are in a class. This is a course. You're learning about taxes and mental health. Mm-hmm. This is a course and your time is very valuable. So I'm going to need you to write off the device that you can see me on. Right. I'm going to need you to write off the electricity because somebody's device is plugged in. I know mine is. Lord, we had 7% when I got here. Okay.
Mine all stay plugged in, whether it's the light, the iPad, or the backup.
They got to be plugged in. And so the entire time that we are here is a write-off on your taxes because you're taking a class. So whatever money you spend, that's a write-off. If you're sitting back there eating while we on camera and everything, you watching and listening and everything, and you drinking or whatever, those are write-offs. Because you were at work. You at work. I know I can't see y'all, but all of y'all are at work right now because you're content creators. Because you're in the social media streets. Right. So whatever you got going on, that's a write-off. That's money back in your pocket and off of their table. And that's what I teach every Tax Tuesday. Like these will be in the TT shop soon because
I need you to wear your purple one next time. Next time you're a guest, ma'am, because my colors are purple and black. You get away with the black today. But purple and black is my jam. So from now on, when you are in my live, you need to be wearing purple.
Girl, look,
you can wear both. There we go. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. She hooked me up.
What'd you say? Look,
I said purple, girl, purple. I love those things. So now what I'm going to do is we have 15 minutes left, guys. So does anybody have any tax questions for Constance? I am going to ask if you have questions, that is fine that you unmute, but let's try not to over talk anybody. So
own a business.
Yes.
I've been in accounting and taxes since the late 90s.
Okay.
I was 17, y'all.
You do. You're so young. Okay, so of course this is a lot of our first years. And so do you have to make a certain amount to get a 1099 from TikTok?
Yes, $600 or more.
And that's going into your bank, or is that the amount that they have told you made?
That's the amount they told you made.
Okay, so
that's their legal obligation. $600 or more is their legal obligation to send you a 1099. If you make $599, they don't have to send you anything, but you can call them or send them an email and request your information because that's your social security number and you need that information. You want it to be correct.
So with what she's asking, because I know she does TikTok shop and so do I, with TikTok shop samples that are sent out, can you explain how we would go about, do we need to claim those on our taxes, like figure out the amounts and claim them? Or since we are using them to essentially make a commercial for the brand, how that works?
Okay, so you get something for absolutely free from a brand. The IRS considers that taxable income. You got it for free, yes, but it actually costs something because that's something that the company sells. So when they gave it to you for free, it was free to you, baby, but they wrote that off on their taxes. So the IRS is looking for the cost of that item on your return because you potentially received the money. They don't consider the products anything other than cash money.
Okay.
This follows the 600.
Okay.
This follows the 600 rule. But it's unless you are just like super popular, you're probably not going to get anything from the company. Like if you got one free item from them, they're not going to send you anything. And that one free item was probably up to $25 and that was it.
So would it be
If they
600 per company or 600 per
600 per company.
Oh, okay. So
That's
so
when
my
they're
next
obligated
question
to send you something.
So my next question is I'm on a PR list for books. So
Mhm.
I should be saying that that retail amount they actually are very kind. I noticed that last year they kept it under $600, but this year they've already hit me with like $300 worth of books and they have more coming. So this year I will probably need to claim it. If they don't send me a form, do I need to just estimate it and manually tell my account?
Yes.
Okay.
Do the estimate. Because you've already made money with them, you're getting some type of form because y'all got a whole relationship and everything. You're getting some type of form. But just to back that up with evidence, go through everything that you received.
Okay.
And if they have a website or whatever and you want to price it out, you can price it out. But the minute that you show it to me, it could be all 672. You hold it up on live, you write it off.
Okay.
Because now it's content. Boop, it's content now.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. You answered. Sorry, Tina. Your questions inspired questions from me. So if you have more, I'll be quiet now.
Oh no, it's fine because it's kind of very similar question. So
Okay.
and then as far as receiving the 1099, what time should we expect that around?
TikTok,
That just
TikTok,
depends.
you should be able to access yours right in the app once it's available. I will tell you that I get one even when I haven't made any money. They just issue me one. I've had one last year for like $4. So you should be able to find it once
Oh,
it's
they're not playing.
available. And I do know that, and I don't know how TikTok operates. My payroll processor, because they still have to go through payroll to do those, they had to be approved by a certain day, and my 1099s are ready. My W-2s are not. So you might be able to check now and see if it's available. And if you just type in to their help chat or whatever and say tax forms, it'll take you a link right to your tax forms.
Oh, that makes it easy.
Yep. 1099 time frame is whenever they feel like it.
Yeah.
W-2 time frame is January 31st, postmarked.
You know what's funny? My payroll company last year had them ready by the 15th. And I forgot to approve them, but I went back and looked and they were fine. This year, every day I've been stalking because I was like, they're fine and I've approved them. And they still haven't. And I have somebody who's like waiting on hers. And she's like, last year I filed on the 22nd of January. So I'm like stalking my payroll. And now this year they're slower to process them. And every day I'm like, I checked, they're still not available. The only copy I have is the not an official copy.
But they have to be ready by January 31st. They have to be available. And they'll be good though, because the IRS is not even open until Monday. January 26th is when they're starting to accept returns.
Okay.
And I'm just going to give y'all a little tidbit because y'all are in here with me and we have tapped up to 10K. I appreciate that. This ain't my room, but if you go ahead and send your stuff to them before they start accepting, you're going to get red flags. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they had to call somebody in and we're not starting until Monday. So we had to call a bunch of people in. What do you think is going to pay for those people? Your tax returns. Because you didn't want to wait. So now we're going to look at them hard because we had to come in early to check all of these to get them out of the way. So I would advise that do not file your taxes with the IRS until they say we're ready.
Is there still a time? I know it used to be, and I don't qualify anymore, but I had a friend who she would get the earned income credit or some sort of credit, and if she couldn't even file until a certain day in February. Is that still something that's in effect?
You can still file, but you're not going to get your return. You're not going to get your refund until mid-February.
Okay.
Because it is now a law that if you have earned income credit, you're scrutinized. Basically, we're making sure that your kids are not being claimed by anyone else. that they are supposed to be on your return, because there has been so much fraud in behind children that we made it a law that everybody with kids on their return is going to wait until mid-February, most of the time the end of February.
And I will tell you, as somebody who had three people I've known where their kid was claimed on someone else's taxes and they found out after they filed their taxes, it is not fun. One of them, somebody filed their taxes 2 years in a row with their children, and he had to prove he had custody of the kids both years. It took him 3 years to get both returns while they investigated. But then one day he just woke up to 10 grand in his bank account.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it hurt his feelings because he needed those returns because he's a single parent.
And you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. That's why I always tell people, if you are filing anybody else's child, like if you are the non-custodial parent, you don't pay child support. Or you pay child support, non-custodial, you pay the child support. You have to have something written from the custodial parent to say you can claim these children.
Unless it's in a judge's order, right? Where it's like every other year. Yeah.
Well, and that's that you still check the same box in the taxing software that I either have a written statement from the custodial parent or it is written by law, in the court system. The judge said I get to claim them every other year.
Yeah. All right. I have a question because Stephanie sometimes goes live. She's the tattoo artist and she will sometimes film herself going live. And she recently had to buy a different type of case for her iPad just so she could prop it up while she's going live. Can you explain how that's a deduction? Is the entire thing a deduction, even though the iPad is a personal device? Okay.
Before because I think my question actually ties into this, and you could probably answer both with the same answer. So this past week, I went to Michigan. I did a tattoo. I drove my parents' car. I did pay for the gas once, and then my parents paid when we got up there, paid for gas. But also, like, the food that I was talking about that I bought while I was up there. I did talk about tattoos. I talked to pretty much all my friends.
That you were on a business trip.
Okay.
Even though she was in someone else's car, how would she do that since she paid for gas one way?
Then you just write off how much you paid.
Okay. Do I need receipts?
And
because
then
I don't have. I'm
the IRS doesn't
really
want your
bad
receipts.
at receipts.
They don't want your receipts. What they do want is the actual total of what you spent. Like you know how
your
much
bank
gas
statement
you put in there,
your bank statement should have it if you use the debit.
Okay, so some of it I did pay cash. On some of it, like a lot of it, a good chunk of it.
You can do an entire estimate.
Yeah.
You can do an estimate.
About $200 cash, and then
I would say as long as it's reasonable
about $150 on my card.
Yeah.
What was that?
I would say as long as it's reasonable when you cash estimate, that's helpful as well. And since you have some of it on, really I always like to look for what can they audit me for. So I keep a mileage log that's handwritten as well as I log a digital one. So that way if they come at me 7 years from now, I still have the log.
How do you
what you can do?
You would literally write down everything for the trip. As in, I paid for this, I paid for this, I paid for this, and you're going to put tattoo trip to Michigan or whatever it is, and you're going to put it in your file folder.
So if lunch was $29.77, you're going to round up to 30 because they round everything up on the tax form anyway. So or down, they round it up or down. So
and let me give you another little professional tip that you're only going to get 50% of your meals because you are not a DOT truck driver. They get 100%. Everybody else that owns a business gets 50%. So,
I mean,
it doesn't matter where you went to lunch at.
Than nothing,
right?
I mean, I'm saying it doesn't matter where you went to lunch at. Just make sure that you get 100% of your money back.
Okay.
Because they're not going to look for the receipt at such and such restaurant that you've only been to once because you don't live there. They're not going to be looking for that receipt. And you could have potentially paid for 6 tables while you were there because you were advertising and telling everybody about tattoos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever you put in that amount for that trip for the meals, make sure you include every single meal that you ate because you didn't eat any of them at your house.
No.
So include all of that money. And I'm not going to tell you to boost it 50%, but you only get a 50% limit when it comes to meals because you're not a semi truck driver.
Okay.
And they're not going to know. So make sure you write that down on your piece of paper because you use cash. Make sure you write down the amount that you put on your tax return. Write that down on your piece of paper.
Okay.
All
and I should do this
right.
now to keep it in.
Yes, while it's
for
fresh
next
in your
year?
brain,
Okay.
grab something, write it down really quickly. And that way you don't have to worry about it.
You
So
have
when
an
you go to do your
iPad,
taxes,
so
you're
you
like,
can.
I got this.
You have an
Yeah,
iPad, and they have a journal in iPad now. You could just document it in iPad and then print out the page later when you're calculating for
Doing
next
that.
year.
Because I'm not sure how I'm going to do this year's taxes because I really didn't do this. And I have realized that because of my level of stress, I have forgotten things.
So, Stephanie, when
That's
you order
okay.
your tattoo supplies, do you order through somebody online or do you buy them in person?
Online, mostly.
Okay, so you
Oh.
can take your online receipts for your tattoo supplies, and that'll be one way that you can prove that those were business expenses. You may not be able to catch everything since you didn't save everything, but you might as well try and get as much as
So
you
the
can.
shops that I do shop through, I shop
Mhm.
through with Shop, the app Shop.
Mhm.
And then also Temu and my
Jam.
if it's inks, I shop directly from the website that I get the inks from, that are US based.
So get your
Um,
receipts for each one of those. That's what I would do.
Mhm.
Get all your
Okay.
receipts that are dated 2025 for each one of those. Or if they have like something you spent X amount of dollars this year, some of them do, some of them don't, where it'll give you an entire list of things that you've purchased. And then that way you can do that and weigh it against your income. Because I imagine as a tattoo artist, you probably get a lot of cash income.
I do a lot, but I also
Who let this
Hello,
person
guys.
up? Hi, you do not sound old enough to be on the live. I'm sorry. Bye.
No!
yeah,
I
bye.
hate my life. I want to kill myself.
Oh my god. Okay, I cannot get this
Mhm.
person off of my live.
Okay.
No.
He's gone now.
Thank you, Tina. I couldn't get anything to work. Thank you. And we are going to
No,
make sure that person is blocked because
One.
this is what they do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to get me flagged on my live. Thank you, kid. I don't know how they got up here. I did not.
I don't either.
And I
Yeah,
have my
neither do I.
settings so they can't auto
I
populate.
think they requested and they or backdoored hacked.
They did something. They had to have backdoored because I did not let them up. I saw them and was like, "You're not coming up." I actually declined it. That's why I was like, "What the hell?" All right. See,
Okay, so I
thanks to
forgot the
them,
rest of
I
my
just
question.
got a warning.
Oh no.
Oh, because they said the words F1, F1, F1.
Yep.
Ugh.
All right.
Okay.
Well, it's a good thing we're at the end of the live. I do post the replay over on YouTube. I will be editing out that nice little piece they gave me. But I want to thank you again so much, Constance. And before you go, Jamie wants to give you some love if she can get her damn tablet to work. Since we're already in trouble, I can say damn, right?
For you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So some of my expenses from last year were actually at the end of 23. Wait, what year was last year? I'm so confused.
24.
Yeah,
At
that.
the end of 24.
So confused. Okay, so I had to get my for example, I had to get my shop certified. That cost me $500. I knew that was going to be a write-off.
Did you write it off?
I didn't file that one part on 24 because the guy said to hold on to that and claim it for when my business is up, when I actually get approved. So I paid for it and sent it in December of 24, got approved and accepted January 25th.
Okay, so this is the January bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's this year's
the
taxes.
money left in 24, but the labor or the services received.
So you didn't actually receive the license or the certificate or anything until January.
Yes.
You had already pre-gamed it, and so that means that $500 goes towards your up to $5,000 back for creating a business for the first time. You get up to $5,000 back in expenses, and that's one of the expenses because they have to be paid in the prior year.
Okay.
Because you're setting up your business. These are startup
and same with my like my needles that I purchased throughout the 24.
Because you were going to start a business.
Yeah.
And so you were pre-gaming all of the things, and you have up to $5,000 to pre-game with. That's what you can get back. The limit is $5,000. So you were advertising, you were telling people, you were passing out the discounted tattoos, all kinds of stuff up to that $5,000.
Okay.
Because that's an automatic $5,000 off of your taxable income. Okay. Anything off of your taxable income raises your chance of a refund, or at least puts you in another tax bracket that's lower and you pay less taxes.
Oh, okay.
You did everything right, hon. You got this. You got this.
Because I still have the money order receipt with the receipt of purchase from like I think it was CVS.
Okay.
Did that. And then what about my lot rent or my space rent?
Yeah, that what? Write that off, please.
Okay.
Please. In a hurry? All 12 months? Like
well, my contract's year is February.
Okay. Yeah. So
I officially opened February 1st.
Awesome. So yes, you get to write off in the beginning the $5,000 for the startup cost, and then all of your business stuff is for 11 months. But you got 11 strong months of write-offs. Okay. That's all I've heard you say is write-offs. I haven't heard anything.
Right.
I've just heard write-offs.
Okay. All right.
Any
one more question?
That's all my questions that I have. We're friends, so if I have other questions, may I message you?
Please do.
Okay.
Make sure we're connected. Okay, good.
I really don't know much about any of this, and I'm like,
and I love that for me, because I like to hold your hand and walk you all the way through it, because I want everyone to graduate from tax stress. Can we have a tax stress graduation? And you just get me on the phone and say, hey, I'm going to take you down through my taxes. Can you listen and make sure I didn't miss anything? That's what I want to get my customers to. Okay. Because every time I do your taxes, I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to explain everything that we're going through. If I'm telling you to type a number here, I'm going to explain why I'm saying that, because you told me you use this much for your business. So that number is going to go here. I'm going to explain it to you. I will get on my laptop. I will go down through the IRS website, whatever you need me to do, so you can understand your tax situation surrounding your money.
Okay, so as a content creator, making that different kind of money, right?
Yes.
Do you recommend filing taxes online or through a professional?
If you're going to file for yourself, I would suggest a professional consultation. As in, have a conversation with a tax professional.
Okay.
So just so you can make sure you're not missing any money. Do not leave any money on the table because they will keep it. They will keep it. And let me just remind y'all that if you haven't filed in 3 years and you're getting a refund, you better file, because after 3 years, you no longer get to accept that refund. They keep it, and it is a donation to the United States of America. You're welcome. And it's a donation that you don't get to write off. They just kept your money because you didn't file on time. Very important. A lot of people don't realize that.
And if
Well,
you
I don't
owe
know,
them
so
money,
what's the
they
problem?
will come after you in a heartbeat. But
Yeah.
if they owe you money, they're gonna take their sweet,
They're not going to
wonderful
say
time.
anything. They're going to let time run out
Yep.
because obviously you don't need the money.
Yeah.
You didn't try to come get it.
Yeah.